that, especially at North High School, there was a considerable amount of Measure R things deferred, and now we're picking up many of those things, well, all of those things, quite frankly, that were deferred under Measure R.
Martha Deutsch.
I think that answered my question.
Okay.
Okay, because I had some question regarding the original scope of the work, and you answered my question regarding that. And also, would there be some form of compromise, maybe? And would it be costly? I mean, would you have to redraw architectural drawings?
No, we wouldn't have to. If the front entryway at North High School, if you decided to put that 477 back into the project and wanted us to go back and look at maybe not doing the full scope, and we could narrow that down, any money that wasn't spent on that would go back into the contingency, which ultimately, if not spent, go back to the district.
Thank you.
Mr. Lee.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that I'm hearing a little different message, even though we were all patting ourselves in the back in 2009 about how thrifty we were because the economy was in the tank. And now things are getting to be a little bit different because of inflation and those kinds of things.
Blame Charlie.
Yes, we could. We did.
There is a 1% tax on lumber now.
You did.
I missed that meeting, but anyway. But you get all the credit.
I did. I did.
In fact, I got Marisucci elected to the assembly.
You say that.
Yeah,
You say that.
Okay. But so what you're saying is I don't have $2 million in contingency because I got to roll it forward to all these other things I don't know about in 2017 and 2018, or I won't have enough money to do West High.
No,
Something like that.
no, we're not saying that.
But you're kind of saying that.
Well, what we're
What do
saying.
you say?
Yeah, good question. What we're saying is every project has a budget, including the projects for 2017 and 18. That's already budgeted, period. Mr. Wormers already knows this from the Bond Oversight Committee. So those budgets are never touched. There is a contingency for those projects that's already built into. The problem is that we don't have a good crystal ball to know in 2017 and 18 out there, is that enough to cover those projects?
But aren't the contingencies on the 17 and 15 and 16 projects bigger than the contingencies on the 2009?
They are not.
They are not.
Now, what there is left, and this was by a conscious decision that the board made several years ago at my recommendation, what we are doing is a fail-safe contingency for the last 8 schools, which would be in about 2018, I think, part of 17. And that is most finance plans include the state funding and interest income. We purposefully have not included that in our finance plan. That's probably somewhere in the 20 million category that, quite frankly, is not budgeted at all. And, those dollars have to be accumulated as they come in. Like, there's not $20 million sitting today. But by 17, 18, that is our estimate, that those dollars will be available. And that's the fail-safe in case we see a spike in inflation and the budget plus the contingency that's already been made for those last schools will not cover, then you have the fail-safe contingency that would kick in.
So we don't need to, in effect, save money from these projects to complete the projects in 17 and 18.
Well, we just don't know that.
I've heard both answers now.
He's just being very cautious.
No, what I'm saying is we just do not know what the inflation percentage will be in those out years. So what we originally set up, Mr. Wormers on the committee can remember this, is that we have the contingency of 10% for each of the current projects with an additional contingency that would be held for those other projects, in addition to the fail-safe contingency for those last projects in case we see a spike. I mean, let's all go back and remember that when we were doing projects back in the early 2000s, between, and I'm going to say 2000 and 2005, we saw a 50% increase in inflation on our projects. So there was no way that even if you had contingency, that you ever would have budgeted 50% to take care of that. So what we really are trying to do is create fail-safes along the way. But the reason for the discussion, and this is a different way of presenting tonight than what we've done before, and I think I told everyone we would be doing this, is that everyone clearly understands what we're doing. So that, you know, again, we laid this out so you could say, but this is important to us, and we want you to include it in the project. And we'll do that. But we want everyone to understand the whole dollar and the bigger picture piece.
Mr. Lee?
You could speak if you.
Oh, I'm waiting till you're done, frankly.
Okay. There's a couple of things going on here in my mind, and I might give up. I might walk away from the steel windows.
Okay.
If I want to do that at this moment, if I could unilaterally do that. But Mrs. Reagan's may confirm this, but certainly I've noticed it over the years. North Torrance has a bit of an insecurity as it deals with everything south of 190th. She's nodding, yes. And so
They've been taken advantage of.
Whether it's perceived or real, it is certainly.
They've been taken advantage of over the years.
So, but anyway, it's a perceived thing that when anybody gets shorted, it seems to be north of 190. And a big part of how the community feels about itself is its public buildings. I'm starting to sound like an architect. And so, consequently, I think it's important to have a sense of place for North High. And I think probably I've now at least talked myself into looking at that entrance, because that was what we showed everybody. That's what we were excited about. You know, it was finally going to work and all those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
And, you know, visually, North High was always not the best looking of our 4 high schools. And it didn't have that, whatever it was. And here's a chance for it to get a sense of place. And I think it's important that we do it.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that, you know, when the time comes, I'm going to pitch a motion that says we keep the entrance.
What I'd like to do at this point, though, is I'd like to grill Charlie like a cheese sandwich on each one of these things. The repair and slurry of parking lots. You say we don't have to do that because the parking lots aren't quite as bad as you originally thought they were. That means you're going to repair where you need to and re-slurry where you can get away with.
Correct. Where the parking lot's failing, we're gonna redo it. Where it's not, we're gonna repair. If there's cracks, surface cracks, we're gonna repair them, and then we're gonna re-slurry the whole thing and restripe it.
I went and visited a friend down in Westminster School District, has a lot more Title I money than we do, and it was stunning to drive through their parking lot with my truck because it was really, really smooth. I mean, it was like, wow, this is completely different. It had nice white lines, and it was a really smooth parking lot. We will get to that end, correct? We'll have a good, nice, smooth parking lot, even by pulling out this $393,000.
Absolutely.
You're confident in that?
I'm confident in that. If I wasn't confident in it, I wouldn't even have entertained putting it on there.
Okay, let's talk about windows. Mr. Lee says he's willing to give away windows. I'm willing to give away windows as well, but I'd like to drill down a little bit on what that means. Dr. Manning tells me that a steel window has a lifetime warranty, meaning it'll last longer than we can shake a stick at.
Not warranty, but
It'll just last that long.
lifetime.
Right. An aluminum window, after 25 years, does it need to be replaced? It needs to be serviced differently?
What starts happening is because you're being so close proximity to the ocean, you start getting pitting. Not that the window will stop working, but it starts to deteriorate when you start getting pitting because of the salt.
The frame, not the window glass.
There's not really anything, I mean,
The
poor
glass
Phil's
is the
been
same,
cut
yeah.
since the late 80s. His maintenance and operation budget's been cut since the late 80s. I quote Dr. Stabler, we traditionally cut away from the classroom, meaning we cut in his world. There's not any maintenance you can do to prevent that. Take steel will to it or something like that, but you're just delaying the problem.
Correct. It's and the finish that we have called out is a Kynar finish, which is a very strong powder coat that will help with the deterioration. So we've spec'd out the best aluminum window that we could get.
I would suspect that people are going to take a look at that aluminum window and think it's even better than the steel because it's going to look finished where the steel windows don't.
Correct.
And you are absolutely correct. That is exactly
But they just don't have the
what'll
lifetime.
happen.
Okay. The alternate lighting package, what are we saving for $150,000 in an alternate lighting package?
The change of manufacturer from one light fixture to another.
Brighter, less bright, just
It'll look exactly the
The-
same as the other schools.
The ballasts and the bulbs are exactly the same. The only piece that's different is the sheet metal around.
Okay. The ductwork you spoke about, it's just slightly, it's not insulated?
It's not insulated.
And that's for sound more than temperature?
Correct.
The entryway, we all know what that is. We've seen the pictures on it. And the masonry planters at Hickory.
There was some masonry seat walls at Hickory that were in the plans.
And we were going to remove them, but we're not now.
We were going to put them in. Now we're not putting them in.
Oh, okay. All
They
right.
were masonry, concrete top.
Okay, we've been talking exclusively about north, but this might be something we want to include.
Around the trees, there was some around the trees, a little courtyard area. So
Yeah,
they're like little.
They're sitting planners.
Okay. That might be something we want to include. I mean,
I'll
that's,
throw in that they're going to be skateboard.
Yeah, that's an issue, remember, on some of the schools we've done where we put the planters in. Then the issue for some of the principals is it creates skateboarding. And
Yeah,
we
you'll
put the
have
metal cleats in to
skateboarding
try to
is not a
stop that.
crime.
Yeah, I know, I
Right.
got two kids that,
But it's very damaging.
But it's damaging to the concrete.
horribly damaging, but it's not a crime. Now, let me see if I follow this directly, Dr. Manning, is we can actually then, as a board here, tell you that we'd like to put back, for example, the entryway at North High. We can-
Yes, and Mr. Lee was exactly right. When you drop down into your discussion action items and you're going to approve one of the items for North High School, then Mr. Lee can make a recommendation or make a motion to include the item of the courtyard, the administration entrance and courtyard at North High School. And then we would just include that. It will not cost you any additional funds because we already have it set.
Okay, so this is done at the next part of the agenda.
It's done on the next part of the agenda where you'd actually make a motion. I mean, you could make a motion to include all that if you want.
I don't want to include all of that.
Yeah, but, and this gives you an opportunity to pick and choose should you choose to do that.
Now, you've done this for a long time, all right? And there's no way, your crystal ball's in the shop just like mine is. There's no way you can predict what you're going to run into, as I've saved a piece of Magruder for that purpose. If this was my house, I would say something like, let's go ahead and get started on it and don't order the windows to the last possible minute because then we may still be able to execute on windows. But we can't do that in this case. This is not home construction.
We
I'm
cannot,
saying-
if the project's way too big to do
Right,
that.
I'm saying this for the public more than you and I.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Both of us understand this is how it works. That you can't start down a path and change our mind midstream. We actually have to make a commitment and a plan right now and execute on that plan. So if you get out there and find out that you've got $1 million worth of unplanned contingencies, we're going to take it in the shorts. We can't now back out of the courtyard or anything like that. That won't be an option. So this is how this works. And so everyone, I know everyone in this room understands it, but I'd like everyone on the other side of the camera to understand it as well. It's a one-shot deal. So, Mrs. Reagans.
Does it work the other way, though? If we say, okay, eliminate the courtyard, and you find out that nothing else does show up, and you do have funds near the end, can you
Absolutely.
tack it on at the end?
We can, not in the case of the windows. The
Okay, you're
windows,
right,
yeah, have a
right.
12-week lead time for the
Right.
steel windows.
All right, and my second question then is, what if we say, okay, we want $300,000 worth of entryway, not $475,000 worth?
Absolutely. We can work with the architect and come up with a plan for that.
The architect is,
Yeah, he's kind of
Wavering back there,
shaking
yeah.
his head back here, but.
Mr. Lee.
okay, thanks.
I'm gonna go right back to, if we do that, then we're gonna hear how North Torrance doesn't get anything and West High gets all the cool stuff. and I am not gonna hear that.
No, neither will I. I'm sorry, but I've got to agree with you.
You know,
Besides,
I
this
just-
is,
And plus, you know, yeah, I mean, we could, I don't know, I mean, you know, it's kind of an integrated looking thing. I don't know how you make it cheaper, but I'm a
Shorter
little
palm
afraid.
trees.
architects agreeing with you.
Yeah, we get those little short palm trees like this tall, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I
those
don't think the
Disneyland
palm
ones.
trees are gonna be as tall as they are in the rendering, just to clarify.
I think the rendering is a little extreme.
I don't think they're gonna be 40-foot palm trees, just to make
Okay.
sure. I don't know that for sure, but
All right, so we've beat this pretty solidly. Moving back to the main agenda.
You're now on discussion action.
Okay, we're in discussion action items, and now we have to actually take these and we could have done it all in one big lump, but let's not now.
Well, now we can, because I can modify I'm pretty good at this.
Then go right ahead.
Okay, good. I'm gonna make a motion to approve all of those resolutions that are there, identified as 2, 3, 4, and 5, with the addition of putting in the courtyard at North High as drawn
That's what the
by
agenda
the
says.
architect.
Do I hear a second?
I hear applause in the architects.
That's not interesting me at all. Do I hear a second?
May I ask a clarifying question, Mr. Lee? Would you amend number 5 to be approved to award bid rather than approve resolution?
Correct.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
I still don't have a second, though.
Oh, second.
You do second it.
Yes, I do second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wow. Really? Okay, cool.
See?
We're done.
See, Martha, we do things not always 2-2.
That was great. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it is a
that
good
sums up all the discussion action items in one
Correct.
fell swoop. I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved. It's easy.
Second.
And we only spent $500,000.
Second.
Second? All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
There you go.
Wow.
All right, Charlie.
5:30-ish. Adoption of the agenda, but first, Dr. Mannon.
Mr. President, we are asking the board to adopt the agenda. We are pulling discussion action item number 8.
Okay. So do I have a motion
I'll tell
to
him just a second.
adopt the agenda minus discussion action item number 8?
So moved.
Second? Okay, then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, we skipped Pledge of Allegiance.
Did I just do, good Lord, man. I apologize. I hear we have Blair Eggers in the room. Mr. Blair Eggers? There's Mr. Blair Eggers. Would you please lead us in the pledge?
Gosh, who do you know?
Once again, I apologize.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One of the better ones we've had. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Blair's going in the Marine Corps in July, so it's kind of a big deal.
Thank you very much, sir, for not only the pledge, but for joining up and serving. Thank you. Report out of closed section items. We've adopted the agenda, right? This is where I need to report out of closed session. Waivers. It's in here somewhere. Next one. In closed session on Monday, March 17th, 2014, the Board of Education voted unanimously to accept waivers for students in the class of 2014. Student numbers 4000967, 431113, 431771, 1038121, 1038897. Students in the class of 2015, student numbers 421 533 426818, 431407, 441512, 101562, 101839 for using modifications on the California High School exit exam pursuant to Ed Code 60851C. Okay. That. No, nothing under recognition. So staff presentation and information report from the Torrance Ed Foundation. Yes, I like that. Come on.
Shoot, come more often when the
Hoorah.
students are here.
There you go.
I remember those days you had to report in, stay so long, get credit. So, anyway, just briefly tonight, a week from Friday is the Torrance Education Foundation dinner, and we've got some different things happening that night. I don't know, anybody's not going to want to miss it coming, and if you still haven't gotten your tickets, you can, we'll still make, I'm sure we have room we can fit you in, and so, anyway, it's our major fundraiser that the actual board puts on, so we hope we'll see everybody, and anybody listening at home is obviously welcome to come also. Other second thing, just briefly, is a week ago today, the registration started for the summer school, the SBEA summer school, and it seems to be going along very well, and we'll keep you posted, but we're looking for a successful year of again, offering programs to K through 12. So thank you very much.
Mrs. Hardison. Your Honor, what is the dress code? I'm hearing rumors that it's not suits and ties.
No,
TF dinner.
it's
No.
Hawaiian.
Hawaiian.
Casual.
Hawaiian.
Unfortunately, we did not get it on the invitation because we
Never
started,
been to Hawaii. What do you recommend?
buy a Hawaiian shirt.
Grass skirt.
I got lots of Hawaiian shirts, but I've never been to
Grass
Hawaii.
Wear
skirt.
your dress
A grass shirt and a coconut bra.
Grass skirt and a coconut bra, no, it's a dinner, so.
You know, Mr. Warmers, that's
Brunch,
very
you'd be on it,
interesting because part of what we're going to do at the program is introduce people to the Hawaiian culture. I can hardly wait.
Oh, can I ask you a quick question too, Dee, before you leave? There is a scholarship recognition night coming up for TEF, and we don't have it on our calendar for the board yet.
And I did realize that. It's April the 23rd. It will be held at the Toyota Museum. What has happened is previously we used to do some of the scholarship recognitions at the dinner. The sense was that we were kind of competing with two different, more than one thing, and we really want it just to be certainly recognizing everyone in the Ed Foundation and what they do, but moving some items. Over the years, we've moved some items off. So rather than doing about half of those scholarship recipients and their companies all agreed to do this. There were 4 companies involved. And then we always had a group of scholarship winners that had no company. They were part of endowments. They were part of individuals that didn't live here anymore, that still did. And so we did another small reception for those. And so what we've done is combined the two. And on April 23rd at the Toyota Museum at 7 p.m., the Torrance Ed Foundation will be recognizing 42 scholarship recipients that we are involved with in some way.
Wonderful.
So, great.
right.
Look forward to it. 7 o'clock. Okay? Very
Thanks.
good. Thank you.
Very good.
We'll send something formally out to you. I have this other little thing I have to get finished off first. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Report from the Torrance Council of PTAs.
Good evening. My name's Janet Taji. I'm president of the Torrance Council of PTAs. I just have a few updates. Tomorrow morning, Mrs. Reagans and I will be heading up to Sacramento with 7 of our Torrance High School students, representing all 4 of the high schools, for a 33rd District PTA event, Sacramento Safari. We intend to come back more knowledgeable on how the state government works